What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. We're going to be breaking down everything going on in the charts right now. We're going to be trying to identify some setups that could be brewing for a little bit of bullishness. Does that mean it's absolutely going to be bullish and it's 100% we're going to show a target and it's going to go there? Unquestionably not. But we can see when there are structures forming so that we can get in position to take advantage of them while still managing our risk. That's what we need to do. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell, join us here in the BitLab community. I still can't believe we have about 60% of the people that watch us on a daily basis that are not subscribed to the channel. Is your mouse broken? How are you navigating YouTube without a mouse? That's my number one question here. But we're gonna be having Evan Aldo come on later on around 10:45 or so. We're gonna be breaking down. I'll be breaking down charts, and then of course when he comes on, he'll be breaking down charts as well. So again, my name's Kellam. Make sure you're following all the information, boom, right there at Kellam, Kelly, Kellam, and we can see that also, bang, right here. You can see this is my info. Make sure you're giving me a follow right over here. I share content on a daily basis with all kind of different stuff going on in the market, setups, other people's posts, pictures of butterflies. No, I'm just joking. But I share a lot of great information here. I usually do a podcast on Thursdays. I don't think I'm going to be doing it today because I'm in Vermont. But yeah, just make sure you give that a follow. And also come over here to the BitLab Academy, which is at Academy BitLab. You see this right here? Give this a follow, hit this retweet, hit this like. We will be drawing today. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow because there's going to be too much going on where I'm at. I'm not going to be able to stream. So we're going to do the giveaway today. What's it going to be? Is it going to be toenail clippings? Is it going to be trimmed armpit hair? I'm totally joking. It is going to be, I don't know. Let's figure out what it's going to be. Let's see if we get over 220 likes today, we'll give a 3-month membership away, as well as membership to the BitLab Trading Stack. If we get under 220, we will give 1 month away. And I don't know. Let's figure out something else to do in addition to that. Oh, we can give, you know what? We'll give 1 month away, as well as a piece of merch. That's what we'll do. That's what we're going to do. Now, if you haven't yet, come check out bitlabacademy.com. We have all these wonderful courses. We have been building. It's not like when I go live, we film it and put it out. This has to go through this whole process with the editing team. It has to be integrated in the website. It has to be integrated into the education platform. There's a lot of different steps that take place, which is why when we'll do like these large batches, and this last batch was over 120. Basically, we completely overhauled the entire BitLab Academy with the last update. The next update's not going to be 120 videos, but we're going to be doing batches of 5 or 10 at a time, starting regularly here very soon. We've already been filming a bunch of this stuff, so just want to shout that out. If you haven't yet, make sure you head over to BitLab Academy YouTube, which is right here at youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. And if you haven't joined yet, what the hell are you doing with yourself? Come and join our community. We're pushing up 8,230 followers here now in just a matter of about 6 months. So shout out to everybody. If you're an OG, in the comments right now, whether it's below if you're watching later or in the live chat, throw OG in there if you've been around since we've been sub 1,000. Big shout out to everybody that's here on a daily basis. Now, I don't need to be talking this whole time about nonsense. We need to talk about what the hell's going on with these charts, where the setups are, and what we can do. Of course, there's a couple of very broad news stories that are, as I said, narrative focused. There's nothing really. Okay, U.S. authorities drop charges against SBF involving campaign finance funds. Okay, this is all surface level stuff. This is not crypto. This is somebody that was involved in crypto. Again, if anybody asks you, how could you be involved in Bitcoin? Isn't Bitcoin a scam? Look what happened to FTX. Ask them if the CEO of a car dealership did some stupid stuff, or in reality did some stupid shit. Would that make cars bad? No, it's a stupid correlation. And it's funny that this is even in the Bitcoin section, but it's important that people realize that. And all of us, we need to make sure that we can handle the different talking points. Hold on a second. I have to turn on my light. There we go. Doesn't really help though, does it? It doesn't really help. There you We need to make sure that we can handle the discourse and the questions and the different sort of debate points that the news media pushes out that completely are not even, related to Bitcoin and crypto. So Bitcoin makes its way in the presidential campaign. We've talked about this the last couple weeks. There's nothing here. So I was like, you know what? Okay, US GDP grows 2.4%, grows to 2.4% in quarter two. Will Bitcoin price regain 30K? This is just all speculation. So some days you don't need to find some news context to figure out what's going to be the narrative. The biggest narrative this week was the FOMC meeting yesterday, where we got that extra 25 basis point hike. And so now let's look at what the price did. How did it resolve around that? Now, coming over here to the chart, I just want to point something out here. I've not moved anything here. I've not moved a single thing other than zooming in and zooming out. We can see this level right here, and you can see it. You can even go back to yesterday's stream. I was pointing out this level, 29,670. And look at this candle right here. If I put my mouse over it, I want you all to realize this. When you put your mouse over a candle, it doesn't have to be right over it. It can be above it. But you see how the cursor comes down over the candle? If you look right up here, you can see the open of the candle, the high of the candle, the low of the candle, and the close. Open, high, low, close. That's what OHLC stands for up here. And so when you put this right here, you can see the H, the high, look at that. Right here is 29,673. So it's $3 off. $3 off the target for, I was saying, I'm expecting, if price does push up, some resistance at this level, and it's going to determine, we're either going to, the bulls come back in full force and we take out this level with authority, with volume, with momentum, with strength. Picture a car driving up a hill. Car's driving up a hill and you've got no gas. You can't assume that you're going to get to the top of that hill, right? So this is pushing up the hill and there's no strength in it. Look at this, less volume. There was a small fraction amount more volume total on this candle, but the candle itself was predominantly owned by bearish price action. So the candle opened here. If we zoom in on this, this is why OHLC is important. Open, high, low, close. Those are the four main data points on every candle. So in this case, on a bearish candle, a red candle, we can see this travels down. The open was right here on the top of the candle body. The close was right here. These wicks are, again, we're throwing that rope back for the beginners. Yes, this is bridging that gap from beginner to pro. We have to remember that this candle opened here and it throughout the time frame, in this case is 4 hours. In this 4 hour period, this opened here and there was some price movement within this one candle that pushed the bulls, took it all the way up here, and they did not have the fuel to continue. They did not have the ability to break through this known level that all we had to do was look at the chart and say, where has price action faced support previously? And on the way back up, that's going to be something that's indicating a level of resistance when the price action comes back into that level. So we're seeing the price action come up into this level right here. And does it seem nonsensical that the price action has some trouble at the zone? It doesn't mean it can't get through it. The question is, who's winning the war? It's always a tug of war battle on every single candle. And when you look at each one of these candles of price action over a period of time, you get a very well-shaped narrative of the battle between the bulls and the bears, the positive price action and the negative price action, meaning price go up or price go down. In this case, we see on this specific candle, everybody's wondering, this breaks down. We're getting a small push here. Oh, this is going to go back to the moon. Well, you have to look at the context of the broader market as well as all of the price action in the chart formations that you're seeing, because it gives you that narrative about what is going on in that battle between the bulls and the bears. And in this case, opened here, closed here, but we see during this candle, bulls took it all the way up here, bears took it down here. Do you think at this point, even right here, do you think that following this candle where we had the attempt and the attempt was lost and we're coming back up here and we're still failing, would you argue, if you're talking about teams, that the bulls likely have a lot more gas in their tank to go up the hill here? Well, we talked about what was going on in the news narrative right here. There's no new big news. There's no new advancements. There's no new fundamental data. There's no new, dismissal of any SEC cases. There's nothing, barring any sort of major news that hasn't come out yet. Say Apple, like as we talked about the other day, Apple all of a sudden, announces that they've bought, $600 million worth of Bitcoin. That would be a big news story, because not only would it be them having bought, when they say that, they would have already bought one. So their buying is not going to be what's moving the price. The speculation around what that means, the context of an institution like that being involved, you can ride that narrative. In this case, the only narrative, the bulls tried, they failed, the bears took back over, and we're still trying to make an attempt, but there's nothing else in the tank. There's nothing on the context that gives any incentive for the price action to really go up. So as it stands right now, this is looking on the 4-hour like this wants to come down. But wait, Kelly, didn't your thumbnail say bullish setups? Well, you have to remember, in markets, in this case, we're talking about the digital asset ecosystem. In markets, you can have some assets performing well while other ones aren't performing as strong. The goal here, if you're not investing in a single asset like Bitcoin or a single asset like Ethereum or Cardano or AVAX, but I'm guessing, I'm actually going to do a poll here. I'm going to do a poll here. Let me type it out. I'm curious what y'all's answer is here. Let's see. Start poll. Crypto bag has one coin, between 2 and 4, between 5 and 8, or 8 or more. I'm curious. Answer that poll. Everybody in the chat right now, answer that poll. How many different digital assets do you hold in your portfolio? Are you only holding Bitcoin? Are you only holding Ethereum? Are you holding a broad array, a diversified portfolio of different assets? Are you hyper-focused on one? Are you, protecting yourself by having different assets in different sectors of the digital asset ecosystem? Let me know in chat. It'd be interesting to see how all of you are answering this. But the point here is, Bitcoin currently is not looking too strong. We wanted to get that pump from the FOMC meeting, but what pump was there to have? The FOMC meeting, the CME FedWatch tool showed that there was a 99.8% chance, likelihood of the Fed coming in with the 25 basis point hike. They did that. So yes, that didn't make things worse, but it also didn't change anything for the better. In fact, it actually tightened the aspects, the monetary constraints of the liquidity in markets, because now it's going to be 0.25% more expensive for funding, for businesses, for growth. So yes, we're watching Bitcoin, but we do talk about the FOMC. We do talk about monetary policy, because all these things affect liquidity. We want to know when the liquidity is going to come in and when it's going to go out. That's what all this is about. And so in this case, when we're talking about the crypto markets, and I say bullish setups, and I'm sitting here looking at Bitcoin saying, this is looking relatively weak, what could I be talking about? Let's see what I want to show. Oh, Bitcoin dominance. So coming over here to Bitcoin dominance, I want to just make something clear here. Let's go out to the 3-day. We double click on this, zoom it out a little bit. We had this range right here that the dominance had been trading in from May of 21 all the way till June. Is that June? Yeah, June of this year. We've broken out of it. We got a bit of a I don't want to call it bullish or bearish, because this is a dominance. This isn't the asset price, but this broke out to the upside. It's coming back. There's a couple options that can happen here. Of course, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I also talked about it on Aldo's show. If you haven't watched that, make sure to go give him a follow. He'll be on later today as well. Why can I not select that? There we go. All right. So the two options are, remember, anytime we're seeing any sort of price structure, in this case, this is resistance. What is resistance? It's a price level at which when price action gets up to that level, it tends to reject based on price memory or a lot of liquidity. There's a number of different ways we can explain this. We break this down in BitLab Academy in the courses, but we can see, we know when price gets up into this region, boom, rejection. Didn't even make it there, rejection. Made it there again, rejection. Made it there again. Rejection, reattempt, rejection, breakthrough. So in this case, one of the things that we like to see on price action for an asset is if you have a level of resistance, say this is the price is coming up like this. When you come up past it, price action tends to retrace, especially for the most consistent and profitable trades that you can stack probabilities on, and finds a bounce somewhere near that previous resistance, flipping it to support. And then as this starts coming up right here, the safe trade is right here. When you break this high right here, in this case, this would be this level right here, which would be 52.17%. Now, in this case, we're not trading the Bitcoin dominance. But again, we're getting back to that narrative that we're talking about, liquidity. So the reason why we want to talk about dominance, and we're not trading this as an asset, is because this is giving us an idea of where the capital is flowing within the broader crypto ecosystem. If this dominance is going up, then this means other digital assets are performing more poorly as compared to Bitcoin. They could still be going up, but if Bitcoin has the least risk compared to all the other digital assets out there, then if Bitcoin is performing better, why would you hold something with less risk in a market niche that's not performing as well as something that's more safe? So there's a couple different reasons for that. I will say that depending on what your time horizon is, your risk tolerance, what your expectations are, your risk exposure, all these different things in the way your portfolio is diversified. But large in part, if you're trying to make money and you're on the trading side of it, then you should always be adjusting the structure of your portfolios and reallocating based on what your time horizon is, but also what does the market what sectors of the market look like they're setting up to perform the best. And you put your money where you're expecting from your analysis, where the market is likely to perform the best. So in this case, if this is coming up like this, it's broken this level right here. What we don't want to see is this come down like this, find support anywhere in this region, and come back up and break this level right here. If this breaks this level right here, coming back up, then this means it's the alt season, if you will, is not anytime soon. However, on the flip side of that, what if this is a little bit of I don't want to call it a bull trap, but a bull trap type of structure on the chart that comes up, is basically really captured all this up here and then comes like this and then breaks down. If this were to happen, this would suggest that altcoins are going to perform very, very well in the short term. I'll be interested to see what Evan Aldo has to say in a little bit, but I just really want us all to keep an eye on this, because on the same note, we also have a bit of let's see, we've got a rising level of resistance right here. And if we come down over here, we have a little bit, I don't really want to call it a broadening wedge. I mean, we can, because we have 1, 2, 3, but on this case, we only came back to the median line here, found support and rejected up here. Will we be coming down and testing somewhere in this region down here? That's what I'd like to see for alts to perform well. So we want to talk about that. We want to look at it, but let's first zoom out a second. Let's go over and look at what I was mentioning before in regards to the fuel for the car to even get to the spots we want to get to. And that is looking at the global liquidity. So you cannot have assets move without liquidity growing globally. You'll have, an off asset here and there that's performing very well based on some narrative niche in this case, the tech sector with AI. However, as we're seeing right now broadly, when this liquidity is going up, that's also providing a safer narrative for risk assets to be invested in. If there's liquidity coming out of markets, it's not advantageous. It doesn't feel good to say, hey, let me go throw some money at some very risky plays. When you see money coming out of markets, people move from risk narratives from high risk narratives to low risk narratives in periods of the market when liquidity is shrinking. When liquidity is growing, the fire just gets bigger and bigger and bigger in terms of the pressure, the bullish pressures on markets. For instance, we're talking about quantitative easing. We're talking about money printing. We're talking about all the things that we say is bad for the US dollar. We also have to separate what it is we want and what the markets use to perform well. And the markets, if you think about it, it's just a psychology of people. So if money's easy, boom, 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 yes, it's bad for the dollar in the long run, but it also means that risk assets are going up. When the governments get a little worried, we got, all these monetary policy meetings, FOMC, so on and so forth, and we get quantitative tightening, AKA money coming out of the market, coming off the Fed balance sheet, coming out of the Treasury. Okay. This suggests that maybe it should be a little bit of a flight to safety. Let's take our money out of these these risky investment assets and put them somewhere where there's treasury bonds, and this is broadly how the world has operated for the last 100 plus years. So although Bitcoin, I will say, yes, it's different from traditional markets. Yes, it is different from stocks, but it still follows the same paradigm of risk on, risk off. It's not there yet. Will it get there? Maybe, maybe not. And so on and so forth when we're talking about the rest of the broader digital asset ecosystem. So coming back over here to the charts, let's break down some TA. Let's look at what's going on. What I'd really like to see, I'm going to be quick on Bitcoin, and then I'm going to let Evan talk about this a little bit when he comes on here in about 10 minutes or so. Let me actually make sure I have my headphones charging. So when he does come on, I'll throw on the headphones really quick. Got all my necklaces out. Alrighty, so you guys don't understand how little space I have. I'm going to show you. You know what? I'm just going to show you. This is how little space I have. This is my little setup while I am here in Vermont, down in the basement of this cabin. So let's go ahead like this. All right. Actually, let's flip that. But let's do some TA. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. And early birds, all you that were here before 10:15, we have that pre-stream at 10 o'clock with just a hold screen, and we're chatting and stuff. We got some coins that from y'all we're going to look at. And I just want to say a shout out to everybody that's here on a daily basis. Even if you're here somewhat regularly, I appreciate each and every one of you. If this is your first time, I appreciate you even more. Thank you for checking it out. Now, looking here at the chart, okay, we've got essentially a downtrend that has established on the 4-hour chart. Downtrend. Are we in a bullish trend? Yes. On the 3-day chart, weekly chart, we can see that we are on an uptrend. But when we're looking here for what do we need to do now, we come down to this sort of more smaller time frame, 4 hours and below. If I'm going to look at smaller time frames, I every day I'm looking at the 3-day, the daily, and the 4-hour. And then from there, I can execute on the 1 hour, the 30-minute to actually identify the specific spot I want to trade. But looking at this, we had this top here that got rejected, and look at, it's interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay. Look at these, both of these trend shifts here on the new BitLab trading stack, suggesting this was, likely pressure at this level. And we ended up actually breaking down from this. And if we look over here, we've got a bit of a trend line that's established right here. So this is actually something I hadn't even seen before until we're doing this together, right? Bastard. Yeah, got it. Sorry about that, everybody. Too many, it's not my normal setup. Long story short, price action pushed up here. We have these trend shifts here suggesting that there is some weakness at this level, likely a potential trend shift coming. And we got consolidation. So we had an uptrend, consolidated, and then we had a trend shift here, and we actually broke down. We're starting to break down in some capacity. How far we'll break down? We've already had these targets mapped out for a couple weeks now. Now, looking at this, what is under my foot? Okay. Now, looking at this here, we do have on the 4-hour time frame a downtrend that has been established. And so what's interesting about this, it actually, makes me feel actually a little more bullish than what we were feeling, because this means, although look at this level was also these lows here, I didn't even notice until this point here that we have this downtrend level resistance that this also bounced off of, which is perfectly confluent with the lows here. You see all this where my cursor is? Low, 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 low. We lost it. Here we rejected. And it also is confluent with this downtrend level of resistance. So in this case, let's go ahead and redraw. Let's kind of sort of redraw some of this stuff here. And we can see, is there any sort of, let me go big here. I don't know why these text boxes always print super big. There we go. So we got a little bit of a trend line here. Why did I draw it like this? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points that it held. And then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And currently we're on 15 if we hold it here. Question is, are we going to constrict into this and compress into the zone and break out? Or are we going to break down here, come back up, break down, or we're going to break down? Well, looking at the signals, this is a pretty sharp move of the momentum right here, trying to come up. But let's double click on this. Let's bring up the RSI and the stochastics. Okay, this is giving me a little bit of pause. See, so momentum looks like it's coming up, but then you can look at the next signal to say, does the next signal agree or deny? In this case, this is coming up. It's suggesting that there may be a bullish impulse that may be, following through. However, we see the stochastics that are pretty high here, and they're rolling over. The RSI also has met this level right here. If we double click on this, we can see that we've got a little bit of a trend line right here. See that? So RSI rejection, RSI rejection, RSI rejection. Stochastics, we've got a different level, a different kind of trend line here, which is like this. See that? So the orange line is the stochastic and the purple line is RSI. And the whole point of this is stochastics, the fuel to continue, is showing that it was very overheated and it's rolling back over. RSI came up to a known level, got rejected. We can also see here that this is the money flow is very choppy in the zone. There's no clear direction. And this makes sense. Everybody wants it to be bullish, but the structures and the buying pressures in the chart are not suggesting that. As we're looking at this right now, this is looking like it's probably going to attempt to lose this level. If Bitcoin loses this level here, which is already broken through, we got an hour left on this candle closure. Let's go down to the 1 hour candle. Yeah, I'd like to keep this. I'd like to keep, I mean, in reality, I'd like to keep above like 29,250. On this just being a little bit of a fake out and coming back up, but realistically, I'd like it to hold the 29,960 level, which is right here. 28,960, 29, right at 2,900, because we have a little bit of wick down, but right at 29,000. I could speak today, everybody. Right at the $29,000 level. If we're able to bounce on this and come back up and test that, then all good. We're going to be continuing on. But as I don't remember, I think it was Charlie from Cultivate Crypto the other day suggested that it may be something around 2 weeks or so before we find whatever our local bottom is going to be on this small range that's coming to the downside. If that's the case, it would make sense if we did come back down, if we did come down here and test this, and if we lose this, it doesn't scare us because we've got our other levels marked, which is here, the 0.5 and the previous price action line right here, which is at 28.4, basically 28.3 to 28.4. And then coming down here to the next level, which is right here down at the 27.8. 27.8 is where I would really like to hold for the bias to still be leaning bullish, even though we're having a pullback on this sort of, weekly 3-day macro uptrend. I want us to hold in this region above this 618. If we come down into the 618 and lose the 618, we're going to be looking at lower levels, probably going into, going into the next month. So that's what I'm talking about. Now, let's see. Yeah. Let me go off the screen real quick. I just want to see. Evan should be coming on here in a moment. Okay. I sent him all the stuff. Okay. Now, on the flip side, if this does push up, there's not much room to move here. if we take this level, which is also an order block level of, this red order block that we have right here, what am I talking about? That level right there. If the price action comes up into this zone, not only do we have this diagonal level of resistance right here, we have an order block right here. And so if the momentum and the velocity and volume is able to carry us, AKA, is there fuel in the tanks to continue up the mountain? Because if you, just like we saw on this impulse yesterday that went $3 away from that target we talked about yesterday when I was with Evan Aldo here on the show and on his show, that was the level I was looking at, which is these previous lows. And now we also have this diagonal line, this diagonal level of resistance. If we're able to take out this level, this actually, I think we'd probably be moving. It's not a huge move, but every little bit helps right now, especially fighting to keep a bullish narrative if that's the direction you're trading. And that is this level right here. We see this large sort of, and Evan, I see you. I'm going to pop you on in just a second. We've got this level right here. We got this line coming right through all this price action. So taking out this level, I think there's definitely going to be a pivot here or a hesitation here at the 29,900. And then from there, we still have this diagonal level of resistance above us as well. So either direction we go, if you have these levels marked out, I don't care if you're bullish, mark out bearish levels. I don't care if you're bearish, mark out bullish levels so that you have a strategy that you are already aware that could be in play the second you need. Now, without any further ado, let me go ahead and throw in, hopefully my headphone works. It wasn't charged earlier. I'm going to be pulling on Evan here in just a moment. Okay, boom. Evan, can you hear me? Oh, it's, sorry, hold on. Same as, there we go. No, it was me. The speaker was coming through the microphone. So we're all good there. Let me hide self view. All right, without any further ado, everybody, we got the beautiful, the enigmatic, the absolutely wonderful and supercharged Mr. Evan Aldo. How you doing, my friend?
Doing amazing, man. It's awesome being, visiting the Hit Network, being in your studio, the BitLab Academy. You got an awesome studio here, man, with all the lights. I am jealous, man. It is awesome down here. So I'm doing fantastic. Price action the past few days, kind of we're just seeing that summer boringness. So just trying to see more excitement kind of in my life. I was talking, Freaky Candles and a lot of other people, saying, oh man, it's just been so boring. We're staring at paint here. So hopefully we get some more excitement.
No, I definitely agree with you there. But you know what? Everybody that's watching right now, each and every one of you, as bored as you may think you are, you're doing better than 90% of the people in the markets right now that have crypto and aren't paying attention because it's boring. Paying attention when it's boring literally helps set you up to take advantage of positions that people a year from now or 3 years or 10 or 20 years from now are gonna be like, how the hell did you get in that price action? You know how? Because you were paying attention. So Evan, let's break down some charts if you're open to it.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna do a lot of TA today. Just breaking down let's get your thoughts first on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we'll just go through a bunch of different alts and see, is there anything brewing? And we don't need to go contextual on this one. We're breaking down some TA because that is your absolute specialty, my friend.
Yeah. So 100%. Can you see my screen now?
I can, but can you minimize?
Let's see. I can make.
Can you minimize? Yeah. Can you? Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There we go. Is that any better? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So so let's look at right here. So we were talking about, on the morning show, on the BitBoy Crypto morning show, we were talking about this point right here. You see these 3 wicks right here. And in the short term yesterday, it was looking pretty bullish. We got the jump off of a spiral line pocket. For those not too familiar with spiral lines, Crypto Face was the first person who really used these. All they really are is just lines of support and resistance. They're trend lines, and they're just really good places, especially when you have double ones. Right here, nice bounce off of that area. And in the first place, when you get a nice bounce, the first place you want to look for, there's obviously a lot of things you want to look for. Other spiral lines, point of control, volume areas, a lot of things you want to look for. But an easy thing you can look for the first place that price may hit traffic is wicks down on local time frames, such as the 3 hour. This is a area that price respects right here. And we hit it after Powell's meeting. We hit it pretty well. We had a jump off of here. And now you're getting a red dot. You're getting momentum wave on the 3 hour. Let me get this off of there, getting a momentum wave on the 3-hour, coming down as you're rejecting off of that point. And I'll do more of a short-term analysis right here. You're kind of getting that point. This is not a bearish div on the hourly right here, but you kind of are rejecting off of that point, and you're coming down a bit more. Where it gets a bit more bullish is this is kind of, or bearish, excuse me, basic market cipher strategy. You could kind of look at the 16-minute right here and look at that curvature. That's some pretty good curvature, which makes me think we have a good shot of coming down to this area before, before coming back up. If we do come up to this area right here, which is going to be pretty significant. Obviously, this is a really psychological area, very close to 30K. Also an old volume area low. So this is kind of the range from here to here, all the way up here at, let me move that so I can see, 30.8 all the way down to 29.9 essentially. That's an old range we broke down from. If we're able to break above there, that's where we get a bit more bullish. However, let's move on to the macro a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Take this with a pretty big grain of salt right here, what I'm looking at. But unfortunately, I know some of the bulls, won't be too happy with this. But if you want to get into Bitcoin, at a little bit lower areas, I don't think it's going to be too much Armageddon. I think the bottom is in. But I think we're going to do what we've, done in previous bear markets and accumulation phases, make a higher low like we did here in this bear market, and make a higher low like we did here in this bear market. History repeats more than many would think for Bitcoin here. And if we come down, I'm thinking the 300 weekly moving average would be in the low 20s is a big place. That's a nice higher low. Not impossible to lose 20K again and scare everybody away, go down to 18K. I'm kind of in the ballpark that won't happen. But, it's possible, especially when you do have a bearish div on the weekly. See these momentum waves coming down as price is coming up. That's a rejection kind of off of a huge place, that 30K place, which is kind of telling me, as long as this confirms in 3 days and 10 hours, this is kind of telling me that we want to kind of come down and see one last correction to kind of scare away a lot of people before we kind of get the happening run up.
What is that? What is that level you have marked out likelihood for the come down? Mine, I have something that I did. I do Monday and Tuesday TA on BitBoy. And I was marking out an area, and I remember this is when we were up at right at 31. I said, I think we're going to come at minimum test the 382, most likely test the very likely, not most likely, very likely come down and test the 618, and that's down at the what level is it? I think we'll front run the 618 actually, but somewhere around the 20, basically 27.5 to 27.8, somewhere in that region.
28, I got a 236, a huge level at 28, a little above 28, which is a huge place. I think we'll at least test that. I was looking a little bit, fib levels are good. I could draw a bigger fib level too, but the correction to the 300 weekly moving average, this is your 300 weekly moving average. This is a place that price respects historically. Price doesn't care about the 200 weekly moving average as much, because it just bounces around with that. But price respects this area. This was the pandemic drop down here. I mean, you went under it a bit, but you had that fierce jump up back to 30K. It would make sense to me. This would make the most sense historically, retesting this place. This is my guess, kind of this is kind of my guess, retesting the 300 weekly at one point, maybe 21K. If the market really wants to scare the hell out of a lot of people, I could potentially see 18, 19K one last time, but I'm more in the ballpark that low 20s is going to be where we're at. But a word of caution, especially where Bitcoin dominance is coming up more and alts are bleeding against Bitcoin. This is where, if you bought Bitcoin, if you buy Bitcoin at 30K and it goes down to 20K or 22K, you're not down that much. But if you buy some altcoin and it crashes 50%, that's a lot worse. This is where you could get in trouble potentially with the alts. I'm not saying don't buy alts, but I'm saying be careful. And I'm saying the area usually, if we look historically where ETH bottomed out against Bitcoin, this does not look good by any means. ETH Bitcoin right here, this could bleed a lot against Bitcoin. It didn't bottom out until September of 2019. If you look at the 4-year cycle, 4 years later, I know it's not exactly 4 years, but I kind of just do the 4-year thing. 4 years later is September of 2023. So that could be a few months. So that's where I'm really looking to get in heavy kind of into altcoins. If we do see a big drop down to 22 or something, I could see alts just getting obliterated against Bitcoin for the next couple months. essentially, because we just don't, we still have, the Fed raised rates. We're still kind of in that hawkish demeanor. And I think it's going to be kind of a no-brainer. This may be a little late to wait to get into alts. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. Like once the Fed finally pivots, probably in March, April of next year, that's kind of the no-brainer time to get into alts, I think, for the next bull run. Most likely. I think the odds are very, very high. Maybe a little late at that point, but I still think of the 4-year cycle, like you're really not missing the boat, I think, unless you waited until later 2024. Like later this year, early 2024, that's like prime real estate. I think missing the boat, not getting the best deal, I think would be later 2024. Where you really miss the boat is probably early 2025, where if the pattern repeats that we've generally seen, that's where the mania phase comes in. It's that beginning of 2021. The last bull run was a little bit different. It was the whole year of kind of 2020, 2017. But I think the real mania phase, the real FOMO phase is going to be in 2025. Assuming we do see the same thing happening, assuming we don't see, some random kind of depression happen in those areas. But yeah, the other thing I just wanted to show you kind of for the short term, maybe a potential trade setup. This is one of the strategies I kind of like to use on this 22 minute right here. What I like to look at, you got some good curvature, money flow is coming out. I like to look at this combined with like the 6 hour and the 5 hour. And what I like to look for is bearish signs on these time frames. I like to look at one higher time frame and one lower time frame as like a main, thing to kind of look at to get my bearings straight. This VWAP is coming down. 5 hour VWAP is coming down. You may get a trigger wave. The money flow is okay though. But when you look at the weekly, you look at the high time frames, looks more bearish. This 22 minute potentially, don't get mad at me if it's wrong. This is all game of probability. You need to use good risk management. I'd potentially put a stop loss above here and maybe try to take some profits down at this potential low right here, this area, or look to take profits at this volume area high, because this is going to be a major, major place. And what you could also do to be a more lenient, more of a swing short right now, based kind of on that, how that weekly bearish div looks, above 30K, a little bit above 30K, in case we do tend to kind of test 30K wick above it. I like to leave a little bit of leniency. You could even go, this isn't a terrible risk reward ratio, 0.71 right here, 30.2K. Not a terrible idea. Not a terrible idea. I mean, I know some people, you could even do, I know this is a lot, but you could even do a stop loss here and then another stop loss up here to kind of hedge the bets. Maybe one gets stopped out and then we kind of jump down a lot. It makes up for the percentage of that trade that gets stopped out. But something like this has a pretty good shot at winning. I would give you 65, maybe 70% chance of winning a trade like this based on how the macro looks in terms of, coming down some more here.
So let me ask you a question, because everybody has different strategies. And I like to make sure, especially on this channel, that we share so much alpha that I want to always throw the rope back for beginners. There's suggested times, and I just mean suggested by their pre-selected times on TradingView that you can select, the 30-minute, the hour, the 4 hour, whatever. But you're looking at the 22-minute. I use 24-minute a lot. Sometimes I'll use a 7-minute. Can you talk just a little bit on the strategy of why it is you're using, I don't want to call them obscure times, but not rounded times, Yeah,
100%, man. In the secret there, it's kind of like, so I came up with this thing. I liked how the 4 hour, I liked the 4 hour and the 15-minute, and that was 1/16th of the 4 hour. That's how it was. So 1/16th, I think approximately, or even exactly 1/16th of the 6 hour is a 22-minute. So I just kind of incorporated it like that. I like to look at the 8 hour and the 30-minute. So it's kind of for that reason. I like to look at 1/16th of a time frame. Like if my bigger time frame is the 6 hour, I look at the 22. The other thing with that too, and I don't know, this is kind of like a little bit of bro science or whatever. When you look at obscure time frames, I think there may be a teeny tiny advantage because less people look at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's another kind of weird theory I have, but I more the first thing I mentioned is the reason. It's 1/16th. That's mainly what I try to look at there.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, even when I tend to do quarters, and then I don't even know what the division is after that. If I'm looking at the daily, I'll break it down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then I'll look at the 15-minute for the setup, and I'll use the 7-minute for the actual, taking the trade, to really kind of snipe in on it. You get the broad view and then divide it down. That's sort of my strategy. It's always interesting to hear different people's strategies. But what else are you seeing right now on the charts outside of Bitcoin?
Yeah, I want to look at Ethereum just a little bit. This was my main. Now, don't get me. I know it is a little. This is Wyckoff. Like this is Wyckoff accumulation. If we are in a Wyckoff accumulation, the third time it goes down doesn't always have to make a lower low or even get this low, but there's a good shot. Like especially ETH bleeding against Bitcoin. If Bitcoin comes back to 22K, 21K, something like that, maybe even 24K, ETH could come back to 12, 1300. These general higher areas. And that's a pretty decent correction downward. You're also looking at this weekly right here that I want to zoom in on. Head and shoulders, gapped RSIs kind of coming down. It would make sense to come back. You saw here in 2019, right around here, November, came into the green a little bit. Then you came down there. You had to jump up before the pandemic. Then you came down. So it was bouncy. It's a kind of an accumulation area. This time, I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit more like a gradual decline, potentially into September, October. The thing to also keep in mind is back in 2019, I believe July was a red month for Bitcoin and Ethereum. August was a red month, and also September was a red month. I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly like that, but I'm saying you're going to probably see some red months here to potentially come down for a nice correction into September, October. Alt roads lead to September is my motto. So I look at September, October to potentially start converting because I'm very, very Bitcoin heavy right now, I've been very Bitcoin heavy since April of 2022, which has saved me a lot of emotional pain with a lot of these altcoins. Yeah. And especially, I do have some Ethereum too, but I'm going to start being more degenerate, more risky as we get towards the end of the year, buying a lot of Ethereum, potentially, buying some altcoins. I know you mentioned Quaint. That looks like, all the ones you mentioned on my channel yesterday, I think are excellent ones. Definitely going to be putting some positions into those. I want to show you short term on Ethereum too right now. And what we're looking at right now. So Ethereum's lagging behind Bitcoin.
Can you minimize that? Can you minimize the watch? Yeah. Just because the way my screen is set up.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Right here with Ethereum, I mean, you're looking at, you're hitting this kind of, so I make this a little bit cleaner here. We'll go on some of the short-term time frames. I mean, see, you're messing around with this point of control right here. We jumped above this area, you're still in that range that we've just bounced around for a while. And I think once we're either probably going to break up or out of this kind of range right here, volume area high to volume area low. And let me just draw, that if you break up, usually it's kind of the parallel channel. Got a technical target 21. That's a significant high right there that we could look at. If you break downward, which is kind of looking like here is a big point right there, 1600. Now this could take months to play out, 1600. If you kind of have some weird, head and shoulder type thing forming here, if you break down from that, that's your 1200, which is your excellent place to get in. This line right here, I'm thinking we won't lose. Like I'm thinking kind of on the worst case, like bad scenarios. Like I'm not thinking, I think this is like prime place to get in if we do come down here. I kind of don't think we will. I'm thinking it's more likely to get a nice bounce off of 1200, something over here towards the end of the year, for a great buying opportunity. On the real short term, what I can tell you is it's kind of similar to Bitcoin. I mean, you had the jump up yesterday. It would not surprise me if you jump up a bit more off of here, hit this fib level, and then maybe reject from there. If we look at some of these really low time frames, right here, some good curvature forming on the 30-minute. Here's a potential trade setup, kind of similar to the Bitcoin short setup I was showing you. If we do have this cross into the red where I like to enter a lot of these trades, what you could do, here's the next significant point right here. That would be you could risk a little bit and get a nice reward. Maybe put a stop loss above here. That's a pretty sweet risk reward ratio. You may be able to wait a while for that swing trade to play out, but there's a good shot. Like I'd give it probably, at least a 60% chance. If I had to guess, probably 70-75% chance that you would generally hit this point before you hit this high, especially based on how that weekly looks right now. And then also for the more short term, entering it a little bit early, there's some pretty good curvature on the 16 coming deeper into the red to potentially dump down a little bit more here. So that's what I'm generally looking at on Ethereum.
Yeah, no, I really like that. And one of the things because our BitLab Trend Fuel works differently than Market Cipher, but some of the way the momentum waves It's all things in markets are cyclical, right? And so actually, I'm going to take my face off here, and I'm going to draw on your chart. Where is? Let me pull you up here. One of the things I want people to recognize when you're seeing this, one of the things. Every successful analyst I know, meaning they're not just an analyst, they're trading what they're analyzing and doing well. As you can see that there's a sort of a flow. I have too much stuff on this desk.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Oh, that's cool. You're able to do that.
Yeah, you have this. You have this.
Oh, you want me to make it bigger? I could go like maybe.
No, I had to move stuff on my desk from my mouse. My mouse was running into stuff.
Better?
Yeah. I mean, you can see it very clearly with the money flow, right? This flow that happens. And if this is angled down, then you can project that this is likely going to come down to some level, whether it's lower, or even say at some level, this flow is going to follow through in some capacity. And you can kind of get some idea at minimum and also, potentially a larger time frame. But the point is this crossover and this crossover give you great signal on money flow when you're comparing the money flow with the momentum wave, because the momentum waves give you an idea where the pressure is moving. The money flow tells you where the fuel is moving. Is there fuel going into the car, or is there fuel coming out of the car? And so we can see the momentum is working its way up. We swing up, we swing down, swing up, we're swinging down. And so I'm just pointing out for everybody that's watching, anytime you're using any indicator, any signals, stochastics, RSI, MACD, you can look at the angle and rate of change over time and get some estimation of how that wave is going to move into the next phase. Especially when you're seeing an impending crossover like this, you can tell by the angle it's going to do something like this. So just pay attention to that when everybody's using when you're using those indicators. Now, Evan, outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, being that you are Bitcoin heavy, are you seeing? I watch your show periodically. Are you seeing anything else, or do you have any other sort of altcoins, whether that you have your eye on, or that you feel like maybe setting up to perform a bit differently, or just any other general altcoin TA you'd like to do?
Oh man, yeah. There's a lot of altcoins that I've really been keeping my eye on, essentially to get into, later this year in a few months. I mean, there's a lot of them. I'm going to be buying a lot of them, probably at least 10 at minimum, maybe, up to 20 something. That's more venture capitalism. Just spread the money around because, some of them may go to zero and some of them may also go up 100x. So it's more, it's a totally different investing game than buying just Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you're buying altcoins, buying Bitcoin and Ethereum at the market caps they're at, that's a that's a value investing kind of strategy where you just buy and hold, which is amazing. And if you buy and hold and you have a strong enough stomach to hold, when things that may not be going that well, it's going to be probably a lot higher than it is now in 5 years. For all the altcoins, we can't say that. Some of them, probably won't be, even some of them in the top 20 probably won't be around in 10 years from now, sadly. So you have to kind of diversify and move around. One, a few of them that I really like, Polygon, I've been keeping my eye on. Right now, kind of bearish on the 3-day. I mean, this could be a potential swing short. Look at that trigger wave on the 3-day right there. I think money flow wants to kind of come deeper here, and we could potentially, come back and form probably like Bitcoin, like I was saying, a higher low. See that low from June of 2022? We could form somewhat maybe a higher low. We hit 50 cents there. Maybe you could get a double bottom at 50 cents, but everything kind of points towards me, September, October, to potentially start DCAing in. And my main DCA in on alts is going to be that 8-month period. For a trading perspective, I mean, what you could potentially do right here, that would probably, it's all a game of probability. I don't know if it's going to, play out this way. Something like this with a stop loss above there, and maybe let's see where we could, I would say this wick down, that's not a bad risk reward ratio. You're probably going to do a retest of like 50 cents probably before you make, break above $1.05. I would think, with how the altcoin market is. So some of the swing shorts for the short term, for the next, this could take a month or so to play out, could do really well. Another one that a lot of people have been talking about right now, and I know some people took the long on this got a nice pump. Chainlink has been very interesting, and I kind of like Chainlink as a project. I think it's got a pretty good future. Now, we've been in this range, for Chainlink for a while. This is a big area, the volume area low. I believe the volume area high is like up here where this line is right now. And we've just been in this generally like huge range. And your technical target, if you break upward, is going to be at $15. That's if we break upwards in altcoin season. Your technical target, if we break downward though, let's see where that would bring us to. Pretty freaking low. I don't know if you're going to get down to, to something, but sadly, there's not much to latch onto until kind of $4 here, that kind of range. And if you do get a trigger wave on the weekly to the downside, this is going to be some deep, deep value. And let's just look at that trajectory. If we do 94% downward from the all-time high, that is some deep value. Like that is prime real estate. If we go that low, I don't know if we will, but if we do, break down and go that low, Bitcoin dominance, comes up to, I don't think it has to come up to 60% for this to happen. It could probably come up to 55 because we saw Bitcoin dominance coming up to 51, 52, and some alts like AVAX, like Cardano, made lower lows from their November lows just with that. So I could potentially see some of these making lower lows with that. And the 95% correction, that is completely healthy and normal for altcoins. Chainlink is what I'm looking at. There's been, in terms of like right now, altcoins are pretty risky business. I mean, the main thing people talk about, the XRP jump up, right now what's happening with, this chart's not seeming to, they just got relisted on Binance. That could be why. Yeah, they just got relisted. I've just got to find an XRP chart that's actually has everything there. Maybe, yeah, I mean, you had your jump up here, 93 cents. Now you're back, at that 71 cent area. And I do think with the bear div, you're seeing a bear div on the three-day right here, coming back down to, I know Tim was talking a lot about the 55 cent area. I think that's going to be huge in the next few months as a potentially good place to get in. A lot of the alts right now, unfortunately, are probably, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, are probably more of like swing short opportunities. I could be wrong. Maybe we'll get an altcoin season. Maybe Bitcoin dominance will crash down. Let's talk about the bullish case a tiny bit here. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin dominance so I'll talk about the bullish and bearish case. I mean, first, the kind of bullish case for Bitcoin dominance, last trigger wave on the two-day right here, there's a 10% jump up. If you do this again, 10% up. However, bearish case right here, we're, almost losing 50%. Money flow coming out with the momentum wave coming down. If this continues to come down, you potentially could see some alts ride up a bit. If we also draw I don't know how much a fib level means for Bitcoin dominance, but I do like to draw some fib levels here. I want to actually draw it like, here's the one from this high, this level, that high. This is a big place right here. So if we do kind of lose that, that's going to be really bearish, maybe come back down to 45.
Well, it'll be bearish, right, but it'll be probably very bullish for altcoins.
Oh yeah, extremely.
That'd be like a little mini alt season.
Oh yeah, more than probably a mini alt. Yeah. At least, yeah. I mean, with the Fed still raising rates, probably a mini altcoin season. Maybe. I mean, I don't think we're going to see anything like we saw in 2021 until the Fed at least pivots next year. Maybe later next year we'll see that probably at the earliest, like a real altcoin season. So yeah. But I mean, if this is the big pocket we kind of have to hold for Bitcoin dominance, if you're losing like 48 right here, that's where it gets more bearish and alts could ride. But it kind of looks to me with this trigger wave on the 2-day about to print. I just want to look at the daily here. You may get a bull div on the daily pretty soon too. So nothing looks overly that bad. I mean, you do have the blood diamond, but nothing looks overly unhealthy for Bitcoin dominance as of yet. So yeah.
Yeah, man, you know what? It's just, there's just so much going on in the market anytime. And I want everybody to take this moment to also realize that while I may have certain thoughts about the market and Evan has certain thoughts, nobody's thoughts are right or wrong. I have some ideas that are 100% in line with a lot of the things Evan just talked about. And I also have some big divergences in what I'm seeing. And you know what? The way that all of us that are doing this as content creators that are also trading our portfolios, none of us are wrong or right. We're sharing what we're doing based on our own analysis and how we are actually also enacting that analysis into our trades. And with that, one of us is going to be wrong on some of those cases. But the truth of the matter is everybody's going to be wrong regularly. That's the case of trading. You're going to be wrong at least 50% of the time, a lot of times. And the question is, we get so focused on how can we make money, we forget the narrative. How do I protect my capital? How do I prevent myself from losing money? If you're taking 10 trades and winning 3, how do you make sure you're not losing so much money on those 7 trades that the 3 trades that you win actually aren't just even bringing you back to even, but actually making your portfolio grow? So Evan, is there anything else you wanted to say before we go? Any last minute charts you wanted to share or words of encouragement?
Yeah, just a little bit more. I'll just wrap it up. Here's the other thing I just wanted to show you in terms of where I'm kind of going to start getting into altcoins. Right now we're getting kind of that red dot for Bitcoin dominance right here. We're in the green right there. See how we crossed into the green? The big point, if we could get up to that 54% level, man, I know you were talking about potentially the highest you were seeing Bitcoin dominance. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were saying around this area, like mid to low 50s, that you might be right on that area, man. That could be, because if we get that high, bro, like I think a lot of people, everybody's gonna be screaming 60%, and we might not see, if we get to like 55%, say like September, October, that could be where a lot of alts bottom out, and that's like your prime real estate for alts. While there's still that FUD that Bitcoin down, people saying Bitcoin down is going 60, 70 or whatever, that could be the huge area. So that's really what I'm looking for. If we could get that high, I mean, that's going to be prime real estate for alts. I mean, if you look right here too, there's not much to really latch on to where we are. We're rejected from 52, but when you get to 54, that's a major traffic historically, like right there, back from the December 2018 numbers. So that's going to be huge. But to wrap it up, I mean, right now, I would say, I look at history, summer of 2015, even if we look at, this macro chart here, I mean, even if you look at July of 2015, that accumulation year, this was, and it'd be interesting if this happens, a 30% drop down for Bitcoin into kind of the end of August. So potentially dropping down. Also, second half of 2019, you saw that pretty significant decline in Bitcoin. So I just look at the history through the pre-halvening years, and I think, we're going to have some red months here for a great buying opportunity for Bitcoin coming forward. So, I'm really optimistic on the market. I think we're in some people say I'm too bearish sometimes, but I think we're going to do absolutely, very well, coming forward. So,
hey, the bearish targets are only setting up incredible bullish wins. Everybody remember that. If somebody's showing you some bearish possibilities, they're only showing them because they're identifying targets that are good buying levels. It's not saying, oh my God, it's going down. It's saying, hey, there's some fucking opportunity that's right down there. Let's hope it gets there. Let's not be mad if it goes down there. Let's say, am I prepared? So I have some bullish thoughts and I have some bearish thoughts, and I'm prepared either direction, much like you. And Evan, I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you being
pleasure, man.
You can end the screen share so we can see your pretty face.
Oh yeah.
It's a joy. I'm honored to have you there in the BitLab Academy studio. We'll have to have you on more regularly. Maybe do a monthly thing or every couple of weeks or something. Really appreciate it. And I enjoyed being on your show yesterday as well. And with that, I'll share all your info. Actually, I have it up right here. Everybody, you can go follow Evan right here at the real Evan Aldo. It's not the real, it's just at real Evan Aldo. You can see that right there.
YouTube.com/just Evan Aldo. YouTube.com/Evan Aldo.
Do you have a scheduled time that you stream, or do you just kind of stream throughout the day when you're feeling it?
It depends, man. It depends. I'm going to try to get more on a schedule. Sometimes I try to get in when something's happening, when there's excitement. I try to wait till when I see something actually happening rather than just watch paint dry. But yeah.
Well, I hear that. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and have a good time while you're there in Atlanta with everybody there. I'll be back there on Tuesday. I'm guessing you'll probably be gone.
Yeah, I'll be gone. I think I'm heading out either later today or tomorrow, heading out. But yeah, man.
Well, awesome, buddy. I appreciate you, and I'll talk with you again soon, my friend.
Peace, man. Thanks so much. Bye.
Adios. Everybody, make sure you're giving him a follow right here at Real Evan Aldo. And again, if you're not yet, follow the BitLab Academy page at Academy BitLab, and come over here. You got about 30 seconds. We're going to be ending a little bit early today. Come over here and follow us. Hit this retweet. Hit the like button, and you will be entered to win. And on the picker wheel today for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I made the Thursday one a little bit bigger. So today's people, if you're sharing today's thing, you'll have a little bit higher chance of winning. And it looks like we are at, we got 191 people in the room, 139 likes. So we're going to be giving away 1 month membership to BitLab Academy, as well as a merch option, a BitLab merch option of your choosing, whether it's the mug, and if you want to see where that's at, let me actually pull it up. It's at hitmerch.com. And if you come up at the top, there's this little search bar. You type in BitLab Academy, BitLab, boom, search. and you can select from this. We have these in white and gray as well. But we'll get in touch with you afterwards. Now, I'm guessing everybody's heard the part of the retweet, so I'm going to go ahead and come right over to the picker wheel. We're going to spin the wheel, baby. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you did not do it yet, everybody in the room, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding that bell. It looks like today's day is what we're drawing from, which is what I like to see, because I get to reward the people that are here on the winning day. So let's go over to today's post. Let's do comment. Copy link. We're coming right here. We're going to authorize app. Oh, I have to go back. Hold on. Log in with Twitter. Makes you do it in a certain amount of time. And let's see. This is a link, and you have to. Where's the other options? Get data. 28 people. All right. Who's going to get the 1 month? Even if you're already a member, you'll just get oh, Randall. Is this Randall Dance? Randall 01365554. I wonder if that's Randall Dance. I don't know. But I hope it is, because Randall Dance is in here all the time. So whoever this is, reach out to us. Reach out to me on Twitter or at help@bitlabacademy.com or on the Discord. And we will get you all taken care of. We will verify that you are this person with this handle on Twitter, so nobody try to get around the horn there. And if you haven't yet, check out bitlabacademy.com. You can enroll right up here at the top. If you sign up for the all access membership, the $37.99, you can still use Give Me 30 for 30% off your first month, or you can sign up for the BitLab Pro, which gives you the indicators, the premium Discord, and the all access for about 30% off every month. And we did that so we could keep the price under $100 a month for everything that we offer. So with that, I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow. It's just not going to be feasible. There's going to be too many people and too much going on here for me to do that. So I just want to say I love you. I appreciate each and every one of you. With that, have a wonderful day. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in to bitlabacademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.